What is up? What is good? How's it going? Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about my current TBR. It's probably longer than it is in this video. Like, there's plenty of books on this shelf, most of them actually, that I haven't read yet. But this is just the stack of books that I plan on, that I'm actually focusing on. And there's even a couple that are like ebooks, audiobooks that I don't physically have, or like I only have access to like at work. But yeah, so my TBR is technically probably way longer than this, but we're not gonna go into a video like that because it'll take me eons to edit and it'll be eons for you to watch. And I don't want to do that to you. We're not that close yet. We're gonna start out with books that I'm most likely actually going to read or am already reading. So the first book is one that I don't own, but I borrowed from a library app, and it's called The Magician. And if you watched my last video, you know that I read The Alchemist by Michael Scott, and this book is the sequel. And I'm not going to get into like the details of the second book, but basically the first book, it's following the legendary alchemist Nicholas Flamel as he's trying to protect these two twins who are apparently twins of prophecy and protect them from the evil side of this old race called the Elder Race, who is trying to retake over the world and stuff with the help of some immortal humans that they don't control but like influence, benefactor for, and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm reading this sequel for a book club that I'm doing with my friends, and I started reading it. It's fine. Like if again watch the last video, you'll see more of my thoughts on the series. I'm still like only on chapter 2. I think I just finished chapter 2 today, so I'm going very slowly through this, but hopefully I'll finish it soon so I can be done. I don't know, hopefully it's better than the last one. Alright, so the next one is another book that I don't actually own. It's one that I saw a video, who was talking about it. Murphy, I don't remember her last name, but her first name's Murphy, and she's also a booktuber, and she was reading it, and I saw her reaction to it, like not her reaction, but like her thoughts on it after she finished it. She kept saying that it gave her like Studio Ghibli vibes, like Spirited Away, and Spirited Away is one of my favorite Studio Ghibli movies, just one of my favorite movies in general. And so it immediately caught my attention. The cover is stunning. It's so beautiful. Like, I'm probably gonna have it right here to show you, but it's so beautiful. Basically, it's about this village who is constantly plagued with storms and droughts and all these different like kind of natural disasters that put their people in danger. They contribute that to the sea god, who is for whatever reason who is angry at them. And so every year they send a beautiful, talented woman into the sea to be his wife in hopes that this one will appease him and therefore stop all of these things from happening. And in the current year, and that takes place in the book, our main character's brother, the love of his life, is the one chosen to be thrown to the sea god. But instead, our main character jumps for her. Like she sacrifices herself so her brother can keep his love and all that stuff. And come to find out, the sea god isn't angry and like intentionally doing all these things. He's under a curse and he's asleep. And so our main character's whole thing is to go on this journey through the spirit realm to break this curse. And it's definitely giving me all those whimsical vibes, especially obviously with the spirit world realm situation. It's giving me very Spirited Away, and I'm really liking it. And I love how I like the pacing of it so far. I wish I could just sit down and read it, because I read like a single chapter every day when I go, like whenever I go to work. And so I think this is one, like, I'm gonna enjoy it either way, I think, but I'm probably gonna immediately want to reread it. But yeah, it's very good so far. I'm loving it. It's definitely one that I'm gonna finish. Alright, so the next one is a book that I actually do own, and it is The Song of Achilles by Madison Miller. This one I have been wanting to read for a while because I love Greek mythology. I'm actually listening to a podcast that's like in the podcast at the time, at that time I'm listening to the story of, like, I had just finished the story of the Iliad. Yes, that's what this is based on. The Iliad and stuff, so I know like of like Achilles and Patroclus and like their little story situation, at least from that perspective. But I've heard so many things, so many good things about this. I don't think I've met anyone who hasn't liked it. People say that it'll make you cry, even though everyone pretty much knows how this ends and like the story of Achilles and all that stuff. But like, I guess the way it's told still like grips you and all that stuff, and I'm excited. And the reason why I'm finally picking it up now, even though I've owned it for a minute, is because one of my bestie Maddie wants to read more mythology and Greek mythology based retellings, and I was like, if you want to read the Song of Achilles together, like we can read it together and it'll make it more fun. All right, the next one is one that I'm 100% gonna read like at least within the next week or so. Not like finish it, but like start it hopefully within the next week or so. Is Iron Widow by Zirin J. Zhao, I believe is how you pronounce their name. This one I started actually like a few weeks ago, like a couple months ago, like on audiobook, because I kept because it was on like display in my Barnes & Noble, like a whole bunch of them, like it was just there. It was, I think, at a Barnes & Noble book award, and so it was there staring at me all the time, and I read the description and it reminded me so much of this anime called Darling in the Franxx. Like it's literally the exact same premise for the most part, but this one is more, I don't want to say intense, but like the way I kept telling like my friends is that it's like Darling with the Franxx, but with a feminist kind of twist to it. And I'm obsessed. Like I loved that idea in my brain, and so I started reading it, I started listening to it, and it was just as good as I was anticipating. And so of course, when we had this sale going on at Barnes & Noble, I had to finally pick it up because it'd been staring at me for months and I wanted it. Because look at this cover one. Our main character looks stunning and I'm obsessed. But hold on, I guess I should explain better than just Darling in the Franxx, because not everyone knows what that is. This is a like alternate universe China, I believe, and in this world there are these alien creatures that are there are these creatures that attack the people. Like they're big giant like mech sized creatures that like transform and attack and all this stuff. And so in order to fight against them, the people, like with the help I think of the gods or whatever, manage to use the bodies of these creatures to make their own mechs. And to use the mechs they need a man and a woman, and basically they connect mentally in order to fight these creatures. The man is mostly the one in control and all that stuff, and most of the time the woman doesn't survive the battles that she goes into, so they're constantly going through all these women, and like it's simultaneous. Like some people see it as an honor, like so like all the people like using these women are like, it's an honor for you to do this. But in these like small communities, like one, they want beautiful women because they're not just used for the battles but also as concubines, which is I believe what they're called, concubines for these men, and then they're used in the battles to basically sacrifice their lives. So the basic plot of this story is our main character like beautifies herself and makes herself more beautiful so that she can be sent off as one of these concubines, so that she can get revenge for her sister who was murdered by one of the pilots, the male pilots. And she goes into the situation, and she's chosen by him like to be his like main, like I don't know, she's going through the process and he likes her, and then they get called out to battle, and instead of her dying, she takes control of the machine and kills him. It like kills him in his mind space and becomes an Iron Widow, which is, you know, a woman who survives instead of the man. And so then it's this whole situation, like this whole media storm. Everyone's like, what happened? Because the boy she was partnered with was this like big bad, like one of the like favorites of everyone because these are televised. And now she's being partnered with this like the top pilot who also happens to be this really bad dude. I don't know. That's not spoilers, that's just speculation. The thing I like the most about it so far, I'm definitely gonna start it over, but the thing I like about the main character is that she is chaotic good, or no, like neutral good. because she only does what she believes is good. She doesn't care what society has to say about good, what the law is. She doesn't care what anyone else thinks is good. She only cares about what she believes. And it's very interesting because I've never read from the point of view of a character like that and liked them, but I really like her because she stands firm in what she believes. She doesn't let anybody, no guards, no officials, no pilots, like step to her and make her like doubt herself. Like she might have moments in her mind where she doubts herself, but she doesn't let them see that. She's also hostile. She's like actively antagonizing to everyone she encounters. Anyone who has the audacity to think that they can control her, she's just like, absolutely not, and is straight up ready to go to jail, to die, to put these people back in their place. And it's wild. It's crazy, and I love it. I think there's another one coming in the series, and I'm excited, even though I haven't finished this one. Hopefully it holds up through the entire book. Next up, we have The Martian by Andy Weir. This one I am very excited about because I've seen the movie, and the movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. In this one, it's about a man who, he's a botanist, and he's sent on, a Mars mission, but then a sandstorm forces them to have to abort the mission, but he gets hit and injured, and they think he's dead, so they leave him behind. Come to find out, he's alive, and now he has to survive on this planet until the next mission comes and is able to rescue him. So yeah, that's the premise of this one, and I'm very excited about it, to see like the similarities and differences between this and the movie. I hope it lives up to how much I like the movie, and honestly makes me like appreciate the book and the movie more, like the whole story more. So yeah. Also, the next one I want to read is Legend by Marie Lu. This one I've read before, like I've read this entire book, but this time I want to go through and read the entire series. But also I'm reading this one for the same reason I'm reading The Martian, because it has a similar plot structure. It's called according to Save the Cat, it's called Man with a Problem. And so I want to reread this one because I read it and I think I enjoyed it, but I think I want to read it again because like when I read it, I was in high school and I did it, like I liked it, but like I think I was kind of forcing myself to like it, and I think I like the premise, but I think I need to move through the entire series because I only read this one, and it felt, I don't know, it felt like the pacing was kind of weird, but this was, I think, one of her first books. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I want to actually finish this series this time so that I can get a whole feel for the entire series, because I know people like it and I want to like it. I did like this one, and it's cool. It's very dystopian. It's very cool. I like the dual perspectives, and I also like how it's written because like the fonts are different colors and styles. It's just cool. But yeah, so this is gonna be a reread that I hope to get to soon. And the last one is the one that I feel like I'm least likely to actually get to anytime soon, because I've been pushing it off for years, like for eons, like not because like I wasn't like thinking about it, like I thought I would think about this book constantly, but for this one specifically, it's just the topic discussed in the book is so heavy, and especially with how the world is right now here in America, I don't know if I have it in my heart. I didn't have it in my heart and soul before, and now even more so now to read it. But the book is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I feel like I need to read this one. Like I need to read it as a Black person. This is one that I need, that I feel in my heart and soul I need to actually read. But I feel like when I start it, it's gonna take me forever to finish. Not because it's long, because it's not, but because of what it's about. And then it's gonna really affect me. Like it's gonna really affect my mood and how I see things. This is like a very important book. But for those who somehow don't know what The Hate You Give is about, it is about this girl named Star. She goes to a party and meets up with one of her old friends, like one of her old best friends, and then like he's driving her home and stuff like that, and they get pulled over by the police. They are both Black, and the police officer is not the best, and you know, tells the boy to get out of the car. Events occur and he gets shot, the kid, and Star is there to witness the whole thing. It was like ridiculous. And so yeah, it's basically about her trying to deal with the aftermath of that, witnessing all the protests, seeing like how it's affecting her community and how and how it's affecting her life, like, because she's kind of living two different lives, like one at her like primarily white private school and the other in her community, like her neighborhood and stuff. And yeah, like, so it's a very important read. I've only ever heard good things about it. This is I believe this is on the list of banned books, so I definitely need to read it to defy that stupid list. So yeah, I know that I'm going to simultaneously love and hate this book because it's going to destroy my entire heart and soul, but I gotta read it. Whew. Anyway, just talking about that book stresses me out. And with that, we have reached the end of this TBR. Yeah, let me know in the comments what your TBR is, what you're reading right now, if you've read any of these books or want to read them. If you want to see my pretty face again, please like and subscribe, and you know, just stick around because we do things like this, hopefully continuing every week on Thursdays. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.